welcome back to CTN. I'm your host, Robert Van Sluden. Let's get started. While it is possible to design a customized table view cell in Storyboard, it's a good idea to have an understanding of what you can get by just simply subclassing UITableViewCell. There's 4 parts to a table view cell. There's the possibility of an image, which is displayed on the left-hand side. In this particular example, I have the same image for every cell. It's just an image with a letter N in it. There's 2 text labels. The first one we've been playing with, which has just been our integer value. There's a detailed text label, which in this particular style of cell is displayed as sort of a subheading under the other label. And it just simply indicates the section and row for the cell. There's an accessory view on the right hand side, and you've seen this in your applications. It could be arrows, it could be information buttons. There's types, some of which are actually controls, and you'll see there's things coming up on the console here. This particular incarnation of this app is grouped, and it's set up for single selection. We're going to spend some time in the code to figure out how this was implemented. Let's get started. To begin with, I simply cobbled together a simple image. It has a blue background with the letter N in it, and dragged it into the project. I created a subclass of UITableViewCell using the new file menu item. It's just simply called CTN cell. It has an initialization. I changed the return type to instance type. This wasn't necessary, it's implied. We talked about this in the last episode. And I'm modifying the initializer here. The first thing is, this initializer is called when a cell is required. And by default, it's called with a default style. Now the style for the cell is an enumeration list. You can find it in UITableViewCell. We're going to change the style by changing the call to super. And the style I want is UITableViewCell style subtitle. And this gives me that subtitle look with the detailed label. And of course, I'm just using whatever resource identifier was asked for. I'm going to make some changes to this cell. I want to give it an image. I'm giving the same image to every cell, so I'm doing this in the initialization. I've dragged in this JPEG, which is actually named cellimage.jpg. I need a path to it. It's in the bundle. The bundle is a directory with the executable and the resource files. I need to know its path. Now I can obtain that by using the class NSBundle main bundle. In other words, what is the main bundle? And I ask it path for resource cell image of type JPEG. And that's going to give me the absolute path to that file. I'm going to use that to set a property. The cell has an image view. An image view has a .image. And this would be nil because there wouldn't be an image unless you set one. I'm going to set that equal to an image which is created by calling UIImage, image with content of file, using the path that I obtained. I'm going to set the accessory type, and the accessory type is what gets shown over on the right hand side, and in our case it's just basically an information button. Accessory type is an enumeration type, And I'm going to use UITableViewCell accessory detail button, and that's the button you see. That's all the modification to this particular file. Let's go over to the table controller.m, and there's a couple things to take into account there. View did load. Now in this case, before we did a register class, and the class in our previous case was UITableViewCell, was the base class. In this case, it's CTNCell. And of course, I have to include the header file for that class. If I scroll down, we now have another label to contend with, and that is the detailed text label, and that gives me that label that tells me what the section and row numbers are. And it's just a property of the cell, detailed text label.text, and I create it by creating a formatted string. The last thing is, what happens when I push the accessory view, the information button? Well, if you take a look in UITableViewController delegate, there's a method, accessory button tapped for row with index path. I added that method and I simply put a log statement in there. That's the entire app. It will be on the website, cocotouchnetcast.com. I will also say that if you're interested in contacting me, there is a contact link. And I just also want to make the point, if you watch CTN from the website, which is essentially the same thing as watching it from YouTube because it's just embedded YouTube video, I get better analytics if you watch it from the website than if you watch it from YouTube. Thanks for watching.